Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga, Saint Louis, San Luis. We all know him as the patron saint of our school, but how well do we know him as our patron saint? In this Hapag-Ibig series, we will get to know him more, his identity, his contribution to the Catholic Church, and his relevance to the school's name and identity.
As a child, Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga was cradled in luxury and reared in the din of arms. As a boy, his mother wanted him to become a Catholic priest, but his father opted him to become a military personnel. As a boy, Aloysius Gonzaga was often left in the company of soldiers, from whom he learned various forms of expressions. What he learned from the company of soldiers were not ideal for a child. That is why his tutor reprimanded him, and all his life, Aloysius deeply regretted what he regarded as a great sin. At the age of 7, he began to recite the office of Our Lady and other devotions, kneeling on the bare floor. When he was 9, at the court of Florence, he made a vow of perpetual chastity. When his father sent him to the courts of Mantua, Ferrara, Parma, and Turin, hoping to tone down his piety, he lived like a monk, fasting several times a week and praying at midnight. At the age of 13, he was appointed page at the Spanish court, but far from being beguiled by its pomp and pleasures, he showed much modesty and recollection that, it was said, he did not seem to be made of flesh and blood. When he expressed his wish to join the Jesuits, his mother happily approved, but his father became furious and threatened to flog him. To break his son's resolve, he sent him to the courts of northern Italy, but Aloysius remained unmoved. Finally, his father yielded, and at the age of 17, Aloysius became a Jesuit novice in Rome. After 6 weeks, his father died in a defying death, having completely changed his worldly mode of life. The contribution of Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga to the Church is that he is an ideal believer. His modesty, friendliness, and recollection made him appear as an angel in the flesh. As a novice, his special delight was to perform the lowliest tasks in the kitchen. During an epidemic of the plague of Rome, he nursed the sick, instructed them, and performed the lowliest services. Soon, he contracted the disease, but recovered, only to fall victim after a time to slow and weakening fever. But as long as he could, he rose at midnight to pray on the bare floor, propped the bed and the wall to keep him from falling. At the approach of death, he was overjoyed and cried out, "We are going gladly." And Saint Aloysius died when he was 23 years old, and he was canonized by Pope Benedict XIII on 1726, after which Pope Pius XI made him as the patron saint of the youth on 1926. In the past, the ICM sisters were called by the CICM fathers to assist them in revitalizing the Catholic mission particularly here in the Cordilleras. As their companions in the mission of establishing the local church of the Cordilleras, the ICM sisters accompanied the Belgian fathers in the education of the young, assisting the sick of the region, and inviting the Igorot of the Cordilleras to welcome the faith in their culture. The Catholic school established by Father de Bes in the sacristy of St. Patrick's Church, the first Catholic chapel of Baguio before the cathedral was built, was born with 10 children as its first pupils, and the ICM sisters helped manage the class. Aside from the fact that Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga is our patron saint, he is also the patron saint of our mother foundress, Mother Marie-Louise de Meister. And according to her, we must carry out his virtues in our contemporary times. His simplicity, humility, and spiritual lifestyle must be evident in our life as young people of today. These virtues challenge our present society immersed in consumerism, hunger for power and fame, and the exploitation of the poor in our society. If we demonstrate these virtues in our life as Louisians, truly we can become the salt and light of the world as Jesus promised in the gospel. We can also help our brothers and sisters, especially those in the margins of society, with their struggle for justice and peace. In our personal life, Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga ought to inculcate in us that our love for God must be shown to our love for people and creation.